Hey guys, it is HangarReady, and hopefully you guys can hear me now. Let's see. Waiting for a good sign that audio is working. Okay. Yep, they can hear us. Hype train. Okay. Let me. Good grief, that was a little crazy here, guys. We had to reboot a piece of equipment because the USB signal was not recognized into the OBS to pull the audio channels over. With that said, let me introduce my co-hosts in crime tonight. Jolly, how are you doing after that big snafu?
Doing great.
And Turing, how are you doing?
Wonderful.
Great. And finally, last but definitely not least, Numidius.
Hey, I'm doing good.
You can hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Good. So can the viewers.
There was never a coup. It never happened.
Yes, no coup.
We tried,
failed. If there was a coup, it was very unsuccessful. What do you guys think of our new screens? Nice and big and less chat on them. So with that said, I think we're going to pick up, we're a restart on inventory because I didn't get to give my 2 cents worth, and you know, that's what's most important. But really what's really important is that we need one good copy of segment 1 so that Jaglin can edit it and put it up on YouTube. I see that we're holding up the JC needs to hold up a sarcasm sign already. No. And just so everybody knows, on my soliloquy, or however you pronounce that, when I don't have a cough drop in my mouth, earlier that you guys got to miss, I said there are only 4 of us tonight because all of us are pretty drained and tapped out from the running of the Citizen Con and Handrosa running his show. And so you just have the 4 of us tonight, but it'll be good because we'll all make fun of each other and throw rocks at each other's heads. So without further ado, I believe that Turin is going to cover inventory. Go ahead and take it away, Turin.
Oh, yeah. Throw it to the biggest rock here. Okay. Can we put up that first screen? Yeah. Okay, everybody. Brace yourselves. The server wipes are coming. So what's happening in 3.15 is first a full wipe. It's happening. So this is not just some small stuff or one category. This is all your ship components, all your ships that you bought in game, your weapons, your uniforms, armor, all your AUEC, anything that you purchased inside the game with game credits is going to be wiped for 3.15. You will get back everything that's in your hangar, basically the stuff you paid real money for, and some starter UAC or AUEC to start working back. This is a good thing. It's been 18 months since we've had a wipe, so if you joined Star Citizen in the last 18 months, you probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about. You wake up one morning and all your stuff's going to be gone. But if you remember way back, there used to be wipes, account wipes after every update. Every update. Sometimes inside the updates, it would do another wipe or something. Jolly, I know that you have some comments about the wipe. What do you think?
No audio, Jolly.
No audio, Jolly. So we'll.
All right. How about now?
That's good.
Good. So, I have no problems with the audio with the wipe. The old ways were there before. I believe we'll go ahead and not have wipe again for a little bit of time, and that's fine. But for right now, no big deal. Not worried about it. So be it.
Yeah, I think that's what the general consensus is going to be. I know that some people are bemoaning about it because they amassed some pretty big UEC totals in the game, et cetera, et cetera. But honestly, once you reach a certain dollar amount or credit amount, what are you doing anyway? And for me, it might actually be a detriment to people playing, because once you reach a certain dollar amount, what are you really doing? Now, at least with the wipe going back and everybody having to start over, it's going to mean you're going to have to get in there and actually run the missions. You're going to have to actually do the things. And one of the things that CIG is going to do in order to make that a little bit more palatable is they've come up with this thing called server crash recovery. Joni, I don't know if we put that up as well. So you may have seen this out on Spectrum. They've really heard the community. One of the biggest complaints that the community has, especially around cargo and cargo running, well, really for cargo and cargo running, is that if you encounter a server crash everything that's in your ship just gets wiped. So you could sit here and load up a Caterpillar with Laranite, and if you encountered a 30K or some other kind of crash, then you just blew, you know, several hundred thousands of credits right out the door. This will allow you to, I think what they're going to do is take a snapshot at the very beginning of whenever you load cargo on, and then every so many minutes thereafter, and it's going to keep track of what's inside your ship. So if it's a server that goes down, you'll be able to go back to an ASOP terminal and call back that ship, and you'll, as long as you're at a place where you can actually call that ship out, and you'll have your cargo back and other items back into the ship. And that's real important too for the personal inventory, because if you crashed, the way it worked, if you had personal inventory in your ship and you had to claim it, it would all get wiped too. So you're just going to lose even more credits. So having this server recovery, server crash recovery, is going to be a major improvement to your quality of life in playing. It doesn't cover client recoveries, I don't think, Namidius.
No. It's specifically in that article they said that client side crashes, or if you Alt F4, are going to be handled differently. If it's we know that if you have a crash to desktop, if you manage to log back in within so many minutes and log back into the server, you should hopefully appear right back in the seat, and you've lost nothing but the time.
Correct.
But
yeah.
So if anything, the main way you would actually lose it all is if that doesn't work. But
yeah.
But since seems like the majority of crashes these days are from 30Ks. From where the server itself goes down. This is going to take care of a lot of the risk in putting the money down on a cargo haul, or stocking extra supplies in your ship, because it's not just the cost of those materials, it's the time you took to sort through all that and put it where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
You can't get that time back.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a major quality of life improvement, and something that I know a lot of folks in the community have been asking about for quite some time. It's going to be a big improvement because we're changing how we handle inventory in the game. They've come out with a new personal inventory system. It's still undergoing some UI changes. If you had an opportunity to get into the PTU recently, you'll see it. There is a feedback thread I think they're going to put out soon within Spectrum for you to start, you know, putting in your pros and cons, etc., with the personal inventory. But basically what happens is, now when you load in for the first time in 3.15, you're going to be asked to select a home location. And it's going to be one of the 4 locations that you've currently been, what we call spawn points, initial spawn points within the game. So you're looking at Orison in the Crusader system, Lorville, New Babbage, and Area 18. Now there is a little bit of a quirk here. It's a PTU anomaly. We hope it's going to stay a PTU anomaly and will be fixed when it goes to live in the PU. That if you own vehicles, please do not pick Orison or Area 18 as your starting home location. The reason why is once you pick that home location, everything in your hangar, all your ships, all your vehicles, all your personal flare items, your subscriber items, anything that's in your RSI account hangar will be loaded into that location. Right now, there is a peculiarity where if you choose Orison or Area 18, there's no vehicle spawn point at those locations. It locks your vehicles in, and you're unable to spawn your vehicles. And what we found is you're unable to spawn your vehicles anywhere in the current verse. So you can't go to another location and get them out. So if you've got vehicles and you want to be able to utilize those vehicles, right now in the PTU, use New Babbage or Lorville as your starting point.
But do point out the quirk with that is that you can't claim the vehicles. Just flat out, that's just totally broken.
Yeah, it's not like you can go for your ships and go to another location, another R&R. You'll see all the vehicles, all the ships listed with a claim indicator. You can claim a ship and it will move to that new location and lock into that station. But if I went down to an outpost, it wouldn't even give me a claim button to choose it. If you're starting at one of those two places, Orson.
That's a
Area
temporary
18.
situation, we hope.
We hope. We very much hope.
And there's another reason to start thinking about what site to pick. I mean, as you go into this, we don't know when the next server wipe is going to be. We know Pyro is on the list at some point. And, you know, so there are probably locations that are better than others, just in the off chance that they don't have another server wipe before Pyro drops.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's since Pyro is still not here yet, and who knows when it really is going to be here. I think most people are going to pick their home station based on what they currently do within the Stanton system. Lorville's probably going to be the major choice for folks central to the system itself, and you can pick every mission currently offered, or every flavor of mission currently offered, except for the 890 jump mission, out of the Hurston system. So it makes itself a very, you know,
attractive
location for that.
Yep.
The one thing it doesn't have readily available to it is a really good ship component or ship weapons or personal weapons store. You're going to have to go somewhere else to get those. New Babbage is also a very good starting location because of the ship component, ship weapons, a good garage if you want to get out real quickly. One thing I want to mention is that every city has an orbital above it now. Even Orison, for those that haven't known, spoiler alert, Port Olisar did not go away in the game. It just got moved. So it's now in geosynchronous orbit above Orison. One of the major features of the personal inventory system is that you can access your personal inventory and ships, whether you're standing in the city below or at the orbital above. So like if you start at Lorville, you can head up to Everest Harbor. You can pick out you can still look at your personal inventory. You can still call out all your ships and everything like that without making claims and such. A very useful feature.
Yep.
One of the things that's different is you actually have to look at two different spawn points, really. You have your home station, and your home station will initially set what you call your regen location. And the regen location is tied to the new medical game mechanic. So if you die, or if you 30K, or if you somehow disconnect and cease to exist in the universe and have to come back, you will not necessarily go to your home station. You will actually go to your regen location.
30Ks, you'll respawn. You will not regenerate.
Really? Okay. Well, that may be good. That's good.
You only go to the hospital if you actually die in game.
Okay. So if you do actually die, and let's say, for example, you flew to Hurl L2, called out a ship, did some things, even logged off in the game, logged back in, you popped into Hurl L2, you fly off and you go to some cave and you die, you're not going back to Hurl L2. Only if you set your clinic location to Hurl L2 when you were there. Otherwise, you're going back to the hospital that's tagged at your home base, which it'll be New Babbage for the people who are there. Lorville will actually be up at Everest Harbor since the hospital doesn't work. Orison has its own hospital, and Area 18 will be up at Port Tressler. Bajini Point, because their hospital doesn't work yet. So just remember that there is a mechanic, and we'll talk a little bit about it when we get down to the medical piece, for you to set your hospital regen location as well.
But you keep making all these arguments, and it sounds like New Babbage is the place to be. Everything works, and
it's kind of where
it's got to. Yeah, I mean, if
Kinda
you have ground
is,
vehicles, I'd rather be at New Babbage than at Lorville, personally.
Yeah, I think it all really, Jay, depends on what you want to do in the game. If you really want to get in and get to missions quicker, have access to a more variety of missions. Although I haven't run too many around Microtech, I know that the Hurston system provides an opportunity for you to do that. I would Area 18, unless you're just somebody who doesn't have vehicles and doesn't care about vehicles, Area 18 is a good place to go with that. If you have vehicles, I would recommend not doing it, at least until we're certain the bug has been fixed. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the actual inventory game mechanic. Joan, if you want to run that video while we walk through. So what you have now is you actually have a pictorial or representation of all the inventory that you have. When you first load in, you'll see the inventory on your right hand side, or if you use I. So before, you were used to hitting your mobi-glass and all that kind of stuff. If you hit your mobi-glass now, you won't find the little dude to put your stuff on. You have to hit I by default. That's the default keybind, and it will call up your inventory. What you do is you just drag the piece that you want onto your body. Once you've dragged your core or a leg piece, you now have ability to put things in pouches that are in those two uniform sets or armor sets. You can just drag those also onto the other side, to the left hand side, drop it in there, and you can do. This is like for additional weapon clips or med pins and small things that you can put in there, your water, your food, etc., etc. Once you get to the ship, you can do the exact opposite. You can load things off your inventory onto your ship's inventory. That will be stored on that ship and will travel with you as you go. If you go to another R&R, you can offload stuff into that R&R, and when you leave there, you will not have access to it until you go back to that location. So it's real important that you begin to start thinking about what you want to put where. How do you want to load up into stuff? For now, each city shares its local inventory with your orbital station, so you don't have to be standing down in Lorville to be able to access your personal inventory. You can do it up at Everest Harbor with no problems. You will lose all your items now when you die. When you die, unless you go back and find your body in the verse and loot yourself, which I find oddly just disconcerting.
It's like Ark.
But unless you go back and
like
unless you go find, a la RuneScape of old, but they don't have a tombstone sitting there. You actually have your old dead bodies laying there. Unless you go back and pick your stuff off, then somebody else can come along and find the things. Nam, I know you've worked with this and stuff. What are some of the things you've encountered with this? Loot your bodies and stuff.
You got to be able to find it. You don't have a beacon that's going to, like in other games in Ark, at least they give you like the green light that comes down to show you where the backpack is that has all your stuff in it. You got to pretty much know exactly where that was that you died to get it, or it's gonna make it more important for having somebody there with you that they can get your stuff for you, or at least with dead bodies, you can use a tractor beam to pick them up now. Didn't used to be able to do that.
Woo-hoo.
Now you can. So you have basically a literal body bag.
And you can drag it onto a ship and bring it back and things like that. How long does it persist? How long does the body persist? Do you know?
I don't know. I've seen them disappear real quick, but I don't think that's intended, especially if somebody's there looking at it. But I really don't know. It's just going to be.
Know.
I don't think they might even say the same thing, because it's probably still being debated on their end how long it's going to persist.
Yeah, I know that when you die, you don't actually. I don't think you die right away. You have a unless you get like a headshot or something like that.
Yeah,
you have a countdown time. Yeah, you have a countdown timer that goes off.
It's
right?
Typically an hour and a half or so, unless you get more injury. And that gives you time to hit the M key to send out a rescue beacon.
Right.
And it's worked. I've been there. I've had somebody show up, stick a pin in me, stood up. We'll get to the tools later, but the tool aimed it at me and said, "Hey, you need to get care at a level 2 facility." Yeah. And so, but then the server 30K, and I didn't have a chance to finish that.
Right. So anyway, it will open up a different part of the gameplay. In addition to regular players, you can do NPCs as well. You can loot their bodies once you shoot them. So it makes for bunker missions and things of that nature. I mean, we've used it before to pick up weapons and try to keep a weapons cache. Now you'll be able to actually pull out their armor and everything else that they have. let's see. Currently, all store purchases are delivered to the inventory where you make them. So that's really important. That if you buy something, and it'll go into the local inventory where you're at. That includes ship components, by the way. So if you're at an R&R and you buy a quantum drive, for example, because you think, oh, let's see, I flew here in my Avenger Titan, but I need a size 2 quantum drive. So I'm gonna purchase this size 2 quantum drive here. I'll go back to where I was and I'll load it onto my ship. My miss or whatever that needs a size 2. Wrong. You're not going to be able to do that. You have to actually move the ship that you want to the facility, to the location where you have the component that you want to put on it. So just remember that it makes it a little bit harder now to manage your ship components. Don't be that guy that rides around the verse to buying everything thinking they're going to go back to their home port to put it all on the ship. It's not going to work that way.
Yep.
Backpacks are now separate from a separate piece of gear that you buy and you put on. It makes for a really good opportunity for you to put stuff in the backpack, and then you can store that backpack on the ship. So it's a way to kind of help compartmentalize your stuff. So if you may have a light backpack or a medium backpack or something of that nature. The light one can be worn over all your different cores that you have. Medium is only on medium and heavy, and of course the heavy backpack is only on the heavy armor itself. So choose the backpack that you want. They're pretty bulky looking. Right now, I don't think they interfere with your ability to sit anywhere. Is that right,
Not
Jolly?
currently.
Sure look like they should.
I don't
They
think
should, but they don't.
So far,
I have
no.
Okay,
No,
I
no
don't know if
problem.
that's coming in the future because that big one is the
They've often
heavy one's
said,
pretty
well,
big.
heck, even wearing weapons in your back would be a no-go seated in a fighter.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why
But
they have
so
places
far,
to stow
not.
weapons. Right.
Yep. So far,
It's coming.
I will say this:
Soon.
really cruddy selection of backpacks in the game so far. My opinion. There's only like 4 or 5 of them.
It's
and
only about
they're
4 or 5, but
no
it's
color
just,
variation. No.
Actually, there's 6 different rucksacks, color-wise.
Oh, there is, but
Yeah.
6 different rucksacks total, or 6 different colors.
6 different colors of rucksack. The rucksack that we're used to seeing on the that one
Max
piece
Flex,
of
I
armor.
think it's the
The
Max.
Oh.
Flex.
the Mac Flex.
The Max Flex. I did
It-
not
it-
real. So they have 6 different colors. Of them.
Yeah, white,
Yeah.
gray, canary yellow, and an orange color.
Probably.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's just
Purple.
a test bed, Jay. It's just a
Yeah.
test bed.
I
Getting there.
know. It just you'd think they'd come out with more of it than that.
They actually call it canary, by the way, the one yellow color.
Okay.
Yep.
Like that.
We're gonna have to redo uniforms in 3.15.
Yeah,
that's
I think
a given.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do.
I'm not excited
anyway.
about that.
Well,
I'm really not
it's
excited about having to make once we have money, having to make uniform runs and bring them back to New Babbage so that we have uniforms sitting there that we can hand out to people that are poor and can't afford them.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
can happen.
No, will
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It will
At
not
least we
happen.
can- At least we can
Pay your
hoard
play.
weapons. At least we can hoard weapons from bunker runs.
That's true. I see us doing a bunch of bunker runs. I mean, just an absolute metric bleep ton of bunker runs and doing site exploitation on every one. It's like, okay, we've killed them all now. Go run and get a backpack out of the Cutlass Black and stuff it full of stuff and take it back over there and dump it
Just
in
take
the
a
inventory.
tractor beam and haul the bags back to the ship and strip them there.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
As
There-
far as
yeah.
I know,
The bodies.
is there any mechanism to transfer stuff to people other than I think you can make it into a crate and drop
Yes.
the
Crate,
crate,
drop it on the
ground,
flat.
and then they
Yeah.
pick up the
Yes.
crate and then they
Yeah.
get it. That's how you
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
So
Now, if
it
you're in
would be nice if you were a member of the party. I don't know. It would be nice if you were able to
Some
to
kind of
offer
trade
a-
mechanism.
offer a portion of your ship as passenger storage, whatever you want to call it. You know,
have that in a Herc. You have that in a Herc. You have the boxes upstairs.
do in the Hercules and that spine that runs down,
Yes.
you can press it and push stuff in there, but then it's available to anybody that wants to come along and grab it out. But
Mhm.
you can't get to the vehicle tab unless you're the ship owner, as far as I know. The
No.
actual vehicle tab.
Anybody on board that's the weird thing. We haven't fully tested, but multiple people can be on a board a ship. Each person shows a vehicle inventory, but it's not shareable with anybody else.
Okay, so that
It's kinda
means if you
weird.
put your
And
stuff
we
in
did-
my vehicle and you get off my vehicle, it just happens to be my stuff, or
Well,
it
you
just,
can't
you
get
can't
to
get
it.
access to it anymore.
you can't get back to it, so it's going to be gone because I'm going to store my ship and it's just gone.
Exactly.
Oh wow. Okay, so word to the wise: don't store stuff in your friend's ship because
Well,
you
not
won't
unless
get it
you're
back.
working with them on it.
It's I haven't fully tested how persistent that is. It may be when your friend respawns his ship and you get on board, it's there. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
on that.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't count on it.
I
That
would
sounds
count.
like some testing.
Yep.
Sounds like we need to test that. No, I'm being serious. That's not sarcasm.
No.
It sounds like
I
we
think
need
it.
to
I
test
think it.
that.
I think it's just I don't know. I think it's not true. It's not going to be persistent. All right. I think
Doesn't
that's
hurt
pretty
to
much all.
try.
Jolly, do you have anything else on personal inventory?
No, I'm happy with the concept. I really think that it makes the graphics you hit eye on the right hand side, make them smaller still, please. It's just eating up so much space out there. And also watch out, keep in mind, even on a station you have or planet, you have a limit of how much you put in there. So eventually you have to get rid of
Yes.
stuff.
Right. Now, any comments about personal inventory?
No, just I know some people got all sorts of gripes about it. For the first pass, the first taste we've gotten a hold of it, I think it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, compared, and especially it's evolved a lot during the PTU cycle too. So
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that's it.
Before I throw it to Jay for the final on that, I have three things that I wish they would do to it. So COG, if you're out there listening, number one, I would like a shift click option where I didn't have to drag if I wanted to just, say, hold down left shift key or hold down shift left click puts it on my body or right click puts it in the other inventory slot, so I wouldn't have to drag or anything like that.
That would be nice.
I would like a tab. If you would put all the subscriber flare stuff in its own tab, because if the first thing
Or with
you
a
do,
checkbox where you could turn it off.
yeah, because when the first thing you do when you load in and you push I for the very first time, you're going to go, I didn't know I had so much stuff, because it's just going to go cascading down. If you're a subscriber, or especially if you're a 2-tier, the higher level tier subscriber, you're going to have a crap ton of stuff.
All I can tell you is like 45% of my inventory is full before I get started at my spawn location.
And unfortunately, your largesse counts against you in this point, because it just fills up with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So put all that in a separate tab for me, please. Just put it in the tab.
Or careful of the max button.
The last thing would be if I'm on a ship, if I'm standing in my ship, what you'll see on the left hand side is you'll see a tab that says personal and the other tab that says vehicle. I would really love to be able to drop and just hover over the vehicle tab and let go and let it drop into the vehicle without me actually having to, because what you have to do is you have to transfer it to the station that you're at and then transfer it to the vehicle. You can't
actually, I was just logged in today and it looked like I could pull the vehicle tab was actually accessible on either side, I think.
So
if that's the case, then that would be good.
I think they addressed that issue.
That must have been some fix that happened in the last patch, because I haven't been in since the last update. But before that, the only way to get it from your personal self, your leg pouch, to the vehicle was to first move it to the station and then to the vehicle. That was the only way to do it. So anyway, Jay, last for you.
Dumb question. I haven't bought a component yet, but why does that not go into the station inventory? Your station inventory?
It does, but it's not listed when you push I. So if you're at Hurl L2, you go to Platinum Bay, you buy a component, it will be at Hurl L2. Okay,
but you won't be able to move it into the vehicle inventory or anything like that.
Not
They got to
yet.
fix that.
Not
that
yet.
would be really
Too big.
handy.
Which is why you have to move the ship that you're actually trying to modify
Over
to the station that you want to do it. Yeah.
I honestly don't think you're going to see that, Jay, until they actually physicalize those components, and then you'll be actually just like the physicalized cargo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Would be
It makes
nice.
it really hard, because especially if you're a single seat fighter guy, those stock drives that come on it, you can't go anywhere. So if you choose like New Babbage, the only place you're going to be able to go is Port Tressler, pretty much on that quantum drive. So make sure that you're going to have to put just any old drive that's going to get you out of that system if you want to get, if you don't have the component that you're looking for at New Babbage to put on your ship, you've got to find a way to get out of it.
But there are a lot of components for sale at New Babbage and Tressler.
You can. I mean, there is a size 1 industrial drive that you can put on a fighter and get you across the system and then get where you need to go. So yes, there's a way to do it. But just don't be the guy that flies over and buys 5 Atlases, comes back to wherever you're at thinking you're going to load those on your ships. It's not going to happen. It won't happen that way.
You'll have to claim them all at that location to put them on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree completely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's pretty much it.
Any other comments, Jolly? Anything?
No. I think pretty much everything's covered.
Okay. Well, then let's head to this break, and we'll be right back to talk about quirks and other quirks and features that we found in 3.15. And welcome back. Hopefully you guys like our new commercial segments. We love them to death. We want to talk about 3.15 quirks and features, and I think the very first thing we want to talk about is the 400i, which looks like some weird sailing yacht. Jolly, what are your thoughts on the 400i and what they? I think you purchased one, didn't you?
I bought one for the heck of it because I buy everything. What the heck? Whatever. Initially, the 400i came out. I like the ship personally myself. They say it's better than the Constellation replacement. I'm not so sure about that. It's equivalent. Keep in mind the 400i is supposed to be a exploration ship. Nothing more than that, exploration ship. So keep that in mind. Initially, they made the landing gear a little bit longer. You were able to put vehicles on it. You were not supposed to be able to put on primarily rock. It's an exploration ship, not a mining sport ship. And so, unfortunately, the attempt at the longer landing gear did not quite work out as well. So they're going to have to shorten it up, and no more rocks going in the 400i, and so be it. And I'm all right with that because it's supposed to be my exploration ship, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's my view on that one. Gnome?
They obviously did a lot of work on it before they let us see it because it's a lot further along than we've seen other ships when they're introduced in the PTU. I actually got to flew it a little bit with some of the others on a what is it, the claim jumpers mission last night, and it does seem to sit halfway in between a Cutlass and a Connie as far as maneuverability. It was maneuverable enough to where I was just left the stock loadout, so it had the 2 size 3s on the nose, and I was using them fixed. And but I was still able to, it had enough capacitor power. I was able to take out a Sentry turret on one pass. So at least got that. I would definitely trade that out for 2 fixed size 4s. A lot of people are saying it really needs to have at the very least 2 size 5 mounts there, so it matches up a little bit more with it being a Connie competitor. I don't totally disagree with that. It would be nice to have. It, unlike others, it doesn't make it or break it for me. The only other thing is, what is the real purpose of the elevator area if it can't really easily fit it's people are getting cyclones and rocks into it, but it's not really an easy thing.
Well, it's designed for one of those silly,
no, it's too big. Wheelbase on a G12, it's almost the size of an Ursa.
I'm talking about the X1 motorbike.
Oh, the X1's in the front.
That has its own. Has its own. We're talking about the cargo deck.
Oh, okay.
There's a separate elevator that goes down that you can just barely squeeze a rock or a cyclone onto, but there's still issues.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, let's be honest. You're buying the 400i for the looks. Okay, you're not buying it because it's a utility.
And it looks awful.
Oh, come on!
Great.
I'm just being honest. I'm not being sarcastic. I don't like the weird shape of it. It looks like some millionaire's yacht that is absolutely useless.
Baby.
Well, exactly. It's an orange.
And I will wave as I drive by. I will wave as I drive by my 400i.
That's fine. And I'll ride around in your 400i. I'm just saying that I don't like it.
I agree with Jolly in the fact that I know what they said when they were talking about it at CitizenCon. It is not a Constellation competitor. Okay, nope, it's not. No. It's not. Okay, it is at most a Cutlass Black competitor, but only for the cargo capacity because Cutlass Blacks, as we know, can take can take vehicles.
You
So
know,
really, what it is, it's a nice little get around ship. I think the table in the back with the pathfinding capability and the if that plays out to where you can actually use it for maybe some command and control, it could be a pretty decent ship for that, perhaps.
Exploration.
But it's there as a nice little pathfinding ship that looks cool on the interior and when you land. Okay, so that's it.
Crazy Shack makes the comment, yeah, it's honestly more of a competitor to the Freelancer than the Connie. And I kind of agree with them.
Maybe, yeah, because I mean the base Freelancer has 60 some odd SCU capabilities, has 42 SCU capability. Yeah, I'd buy that.
Yep, and you can't really fit vehicles in the Freelancer very easily, and
let's not forget that the Freelancer turret sucks. Okay, so so at least in this case with the 400i, the remote turrets are actually in some pretty decent locations.
Yes.
Your buddies are right there with you too, so they don't have to be stuck up in a turret somewhere dealing with whatever issues there are with the turret.
I agree completely.
Or the last time I rode with Jay, dying of lack of oxygen in my turret, freezing to death.
Yes. Hey, that's a problem in the Freelancer. So, I like Freelancers though; they're easy to get in and out of. You drop the back gate and run back.
So that's a good point. That is a good point there. I never thought about it as a Freelancer competitor, but yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
Except it's harder to get in and out of than the Freelancer.
No, it's no,
because it's much harder. You got to ride an elevator to get up to the bridge.
No.
Huh? Well, there's a ladder that you have to go up, but I will tell you that Freelancer, unless you go in the aft ramp, that ladder in the front will kill you half the time. So.
Oh no, I don't ever use the front ladder. I'm in agreement. The front ladder is deadly.
So
it's more deadly than the enemy.
Yeah.
So
it does have. Anyway, that's my take on the 400.
Okay, so next quirk that we're going to talk about is the rash of not self-inflicted drug overdoses occurring in the Armistice zones. Do you care to enlighten us as to what's going on there, Nomidius?
Oh, I don't know why you think I was responsible for that, but but maybe. No. Right now, anybody can take a pen, or I think or they're buying opio pens and they're jabbing randoms walking around Everest Harbor and other places. So if you spawn there and you walk around, you see somebody staggering around like they're drunk, it's because they probably got jabbed by some of these guys. And that seems to be the current griefing / goof around gameplay is to forcibly inject people with drugs in the game. I mean, that's unique.
That's unique. I wonder what happens if you drug them out to the point that they pass out. Can you steal their gear?
Not in the Armistice zone, I think.
Yeah, you can't loot in the Armistice zone. You did. I think you did at one point, but you can't now.
Thank God they took that away, because otherwise there'd be people running around going pop, 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 putting you to sleep and stealing your gear.
If you're with your friends, I think your only real mitigation against some random coming up and starting doing that is just everybody be ready to jab him all at once. Put him on the ground.
Well, I would think jabbing him with stimulant so he has a heart attack would be better than ODing him with
I think you can kill somebody with it, yes.
Yes, that's my point. I just, I wouldn't hit him with OD. I'd stimulate him to death till they keeled over dead. And then we talked about the 32 or 30K issues going away. Jelly, you and I were talking about this. Dying as a criminal versus dying as a law-abiding citizen.
That's unique. I was playing in the PTU, and I was a law-abiding citizen. I died, natural causes, and I woke up with a smock in the hospital. That's the way the game's supposed to be. So I decided, let's see what happens when I'm a criminal. So I went out and intentionally got a crime stat. Then I logged off. I woke up. I was a Grim Hex, as normal. No big deal there. I grabbed a ship. By the way, I was able to spot or claim a ship in Grim Hex, even though my respawn point, all my ships are supposedly at Lorville, but nevertheless, one showed up, the one I claimed at Grim Hex. So I grabbed that one, went out, and I flew as a criminal with a CS1, I believe it was, over to some station whatsoever, and let the guns. I turned off my shields, but the guns kill me. So I'm now dead. And so I show up next time in prison. That's normal again. No big deal there. I did my time. I left prison. I come out to Everest Harbor as normal. No big deal. With all my gear. I lost nothing whatsoever. So the deal is here. Die as a law-abiding citizen, you lose your gear. Die as a criminal, do your time in prison, you get your gear back.
Gear back.
There's a problem there. I don't know if it's intentional or not. That's what it is.
I think that's simply because of the way they have with the moment you get the system says you're going to prison, it's been set before now to keep all your stuff for when you get out of prison. That's just, but that's also because we don't have the surrender mechanic yet. I think when they introduce the surrender mechanic, that's going to be the incentive to surrender. Because if you decide to go out fighting, you won't get your stuff back. That's the way I hope. It's like they're going to have to give you an incentive to give up versus fighting to your death.
I thought the incentive was that you got a lesser sentence too,
We'll
by
have to wait
surrendering
and see.
versus.
We're just hypotheticals now, so yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's just.
I'm not a hypothetical. I'm sitting right here.
No, I think it's just
You need to hold up that sarcasm sign there.
Mechanic was working before all this came along.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think Jolly, just you explaining all that, I can't believe you went through and did all that testing like that. That's pretty
Had
cool.
to.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Now,
good testing.
If you had a crime stat and you got killed but not by security, you would have woken up in the Grimhex clinic, correct?
No, I'm not sure. First, I don't think
because if you have
well,
in 314, if you have a crime stat and you die, you wake up in Grimhex.
Unless you're killed by security or somebody that has a bounty on you.
Yep. What Turin said.
Call to arms, maybe I'm not sure, but I know if they have a bounty on you and security, then you show up in prison.
No, I had a crime stat. I logged in at Grim. So that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. No problems there. I went out and intentionally killed myself as a criminal. Came back into prison. That's normal. That's good. That's the way it should be. And when I left prison after my sentence, all of a sudden I have everything back. So crime pays.
Crime pays. So Jolly, why don't go moving on to segment 3? Let's go to segment 3. The A2 and bombing. What do you think?
Yeah, I bought an A2 way back when it was still first put out, and I'm happy I had it. So I wanted to check it out quite a bit. To be honest, can you put that first link up there? This level of technology we're using in bombing and SC right now. I'm not happy with it, but that's the way it is.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's not an actual picture of Jolly during the war.
No, that's Jolly.
We've confirmed because we can't see the mustache. We don't really know, but we think it's not really Jolly during the war.
Well, they made it shape then.
I've got this to say. I've confirmed that it's not Jolly. It's Jolly that was taking the picture.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
Jolly was in the pilot seat and flipped the camera behind him and took that picture.
Okay, real quick. The ability to select a target with your bombing is not bound in the game itself. So you have to go into the game. It's under missiles. It's currently blank. I selected T because that's what I use for targeting any other ship that's out there. So select what you want to have. No big deal. I don't really care. But make sure you bind it first. There is some sort of max altitude. I can't figure out what it is yet. I'm using SC. So I did a lot of tests the last few days. I had to make some sort of standards. So all my bombing runs at the A2 were done at SCM. And I'm doing it primarily at Hurston. SCM at A2, by the way, is 130 meters a second as a target area. Hurston is a target area. And I've set a target as high as 5,000 meters and was able to actually lock something. But then I followed again, and I can't do it again at 5,000 meters altitude. So I'm not sure what's going on there. In fact, last time I tested today, I couldn't do a target log at Hurston, again at SCM, unless it was at 2,000 meters. That really confused the heck out of me. If you're targeting parameters, if you are targeting or you're outside targeting parameters, you will see right here, right in the upper right-hand side, will say target selection. You're either too fast or too high. I'm not sure what it is. If you're the blast radius, you receive, keep the blast radius one up there, please, Joni. No problems. Again, and by the way, I did do this, and I blew myself up just to check it out, make sure it works. And it does. And so if you're too close to the area, you get that one. If you're inside perimeters, you get a circle, setting the target. Joni, put that up real quick, please. Thank you. Give it a sec there. Do you see a little circle down there? It's going where the location is supposed to be.
Make it
That
better,
is your
please.
target. Success. Thank you. I just what I could do. I need to do a lot more testing on this thing. I haven't figured it out yet. Hurston, I believe 5,000K was the max I was able to target. 3 and 2K I was able to drop successfully. Success up there, JPG. Nice. And they're beautiful. I love them. Looks great.
How many duds do you get then? I mean, how
50,
often does
50, about 50-50. And it's a game. The problem with the game right now, and part of my problem is testing. It was I drop a bomb at an altitude and a speed and a moon or planet, and I'm like, it didn't go off. Okay, was that me doing something wrong? So the game, is there a problem here? I'm not sure. So it's tough to test this stuff out when I don't know if it's a me problem or a game problem. But I'll keep trying, see what happens. So be it. Real quick.
The bombs were despawning, right, at one point?
Yes. A lot of times, sometimes I drop a bomb at 2,000 meters height, which should go off, no problems. I'm watching it. I go F4 view, angle back, make sure I'm watching the darn thing. And there's the bomb. I see it dropping down there. It's a retarded bomb, which means fins come out to slow it down as it comes down. And I'm like, I'm seeing it disappears. I'm like, watch it. Don't worry about it. We'll give it time. And I'm flying away forever and nothing happens. Real quick,
Now,
I want
one quick question on that, Jolly. Did you have a ground observer? Maybe it was exploding and you were just out of render distance on the explosion.
No, because I'd have plenty of drops where I'd see from a great distance away the bomb go off, and I was like, okay, it's working. And lower altitude, slower speed, I know it should go off. It does not go off. There's a problem in the game still with bombs. I'm sure they'll work it out, but right now, just do more testing. Report your bugs, please. It'll work out pretty well. Let's go through the targeting sequence real quick. Like I said, make sure you establish some sort of bind the damn keys. Either do hold or tap, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I don't really care. Target aligning. You got that one going, Joni? Yeah, I believe it is. If you take a look at the darn thing, you'll see that there's a little point there. I can go ahead. You see the circle?
Again, CIG, please put more drop shadows on this stuff.
You can see our circles out there. It means I've aligned to the target. Go to target in zone. Next picture, please. No problems. No problems, Joni. It'll be quick. Right. So now you see there's a solid circle in the zone that looks good. Final one, drop. The two dots line up. That's pickle the damn bomb. Be good to go after that. You can't get a readout of the bomb's progress if you F4 view. It looks like a missile, the little red cross. It'll be in your rear towards the back. So, you know, it's still dropping. And I always went to F4 view, scale myself back, make sure, can I see it blow up? Can I see something blowing up or not? And sometimes I did. It was beautiful. Sometimes I couldn't. And so be it. It's a dud. Maybe duds happen in the game. It's intentional. I don't know. But so be it. That's the way it is. I got to do a lot more testing, and I really hope for some of the major YouTube SC players out there do some of this stuff, get us some real answers. I really want to know what is the max altitude you can possibly do a targeting at, what's the min altitude you can possibly drop at, and max altitude you can drop at, and then we'll figure out this whole darn thing. hopefully together, and so be it. By the way, I haven't found a way. You cannot yet buy a bomb, unlike missiles and stuff like that. However, so for some stations, you can go in, land, and replenish your bombs. You cannot do that at Saber so far, or Tressler. I've tried. So far, no luck. Got to be somewhere out there where I can buy them, or repair, or rearm that way. Until then, I just go ahead and leave my damn ship. And I flew my ATO out, dropped it off, and you claim it so I can get more bombs to try to test more again. It's a bug. We'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about that. Final word, I'm looking at CIA has said they're looking at a S5 bomb as opposed to the S10s that the A2 is currently using. That opens up a whole lot of bombing ability to different ships in the game itself. So we can see on that one.
Yeah, basically a gladiator with a bomb capability.
Any of the torpedo ships should hopefully be able to do that.
Yeah. Charlie, one question, if I could. Did you have to come in at an angle at the end to get the dots to line up?
I tried multiple angles. I tried a dive bomber type thing. I tried a skip bomber. All of them. I tried all of them. It really didn't matter. And so,
just so as long as you can see the circle with the convergence that are coming through.
No, no. In fact, I had to make sure I made a target, get the circle. I'd level off normally, a little bit of positive angle on it. And as soon as it's really neat to see the circle comes up, you got to give it time. Okay. The circle comes up, goes from dashed to solid to in the dot, pickle, press on. You can actually speed if you want to, increase your angle of attack so you don't get blown up. And I'd turn around, I'd watch the bomb, and it'd go off. It was magnificent when it happened. So, yeah. But I tried everything from a steep angle to a flat, etc.
And I've got to agree, if we were to get size 5 bombs, that would turn the Gladiator into a potentially a very good fighter bomber configuration. Get in there and pickle and knock out some turrets on bunkers and things like that. Close in air support, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Although these size 10 bombs, I don't want to be anywhere near them when they're getting dropped.
I blew myself up too, I have to admit.
What was it? How far away were you? 500 meters?
I was 500 meters up, 50 meters per second. Dropped it, and I died.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard reports that you can see these flashes on the surface anywhere between 10 to 20 kilometers up. You can see it flash.
During Evo, initially, the bomb went off. There was no shock blast, no damage from that. They fixed that before it went to PTU 1, Wave 1.
So definitely dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't want to play with the bombs.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you do want to play with them.
You want to play with them. You just don't want to be anywhere near them when they go boom.
Right, right.
So, Crazy Shack asks, he thinks the Gladiator will be a fantastic ground attack platform if you get size 5 bombs and someday larger rocket pods.
I love that ship.
Agree.
Rocket pods. There's a thought.
Oh yeah, that would be really nice. Dumb rocket pods.
We have that for the Vanguard series now on the turret, but.
And doesn't the Delta have dumb? Well, we all have dumbfire missiles now, but they go everywhere.
Yep.
Oh God, Shep,
oh God,
no,
Joe,
no, Shep.
Here, we're not talking about targeting pods tonight. Go away, Shep. No targeting pods.
My God.
Okay. Well, with that said, we're an hour and 10 minutes into this. I think we're going to do a commercial break and then come back and chat with you guys. Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those commercials as much as we enjoyed the break. I think segment 4, we're going to talk about the healing and regeneration. Nam, why don't you kick us off and tell us about the system?
Well, what we've talked about a little bit in the past videos, but they've introduced the beds that we're supposed to respawn in now. So before, where you died, you woke up back at the last station you were at in the hab the same way as you would if you just logged out before. Now you're going to wake up if you don't set another location, you're going to be waking up at your home, the hospital, or the orbital station, as we mentioned in the earlier segment. the hospitals, and apparently right now a lot of the R&R stations are tier 1. They can treat all injuries. So we'll get into why that matters later. And that would be Crusader, New Babbage hospitals, Evers Harbor by Genie, maybe Tressler, and maybe some other R&Rs right now might be tier 1. They had told us in previous Inside Star Citizens that the R&Rs would only be tier 2, but that doesn't appear to be the case now. Tier 2 can only treat light and medium injuries. You can still respawn at them, so you can set your location to regen. I mean, I'm getting the terms mixed up here. You have respawn and you have regen. Respawn is when you're just waking up, you haven't died. Regen is when your body's been killed, and it makes you a new body at the clinic. So you can regen at tier 2, and right now that would be Grimhex is supposed to be tier 2, and a Carrack and an 890 Jump are the only ships currently in game with tier 2 beds. More of course will be coming later, like the Apollo, which may have tier 1 options as well. Tier 3, which is the right now there's only one tier 3 in the game, and that is the Cutlass Red. It can only treat light injuries, but it's and it no longer allows for regeneration. So that's going to be a big change to a lot of people. How they've been used to operating is their go-to was to always go doing cave runs, whatever, in a Cutty Red. And you're not going to have that option with that ship anymore. If you're depending on regenerating right at the cave site, you're going to have to take a Carrack or an 890 Jump with you. Let's see here.
Which is definitely going to limit what caves you can go into. Because you can't, a lot of caves you have to fly into.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you do, yeah.
Or you just take your chances.
You just take your chances, yep.
Or you fly down your Pisces from your Carrack.
Yep.
Even with the risks now, well, of course, you might get stuck down in a cave, which case, unless you're dead, nobody's going to pull your body out anyway right now because you can't use a gravity tool on somebody who's alive.
That's true.
So with that in mind, if you get downed or whatever, where somebody can come save you, there are a new variety of pins we have. Okay. And these can be bought at any of the hospitals or clinics. There'll be a pharmacy basically where you'll see it, typical type of pharmacy front store, and there'll be a console in front you click on, and you can buy a bunch of these. You have the red pins, which look like what we're used to, are the if you could leave it back up there, Joni. Oh yeah, that's good. And I don't know who this came from, but this has been going around Reddit and other places, but it's a very good graphic that describes it all. So if you know, please know who made this. Please let us know. Hemazole, which is what we're used to, the red pin, it regenerates your hit points. The main idea is it's blood loss, general injuries. The green one is Roxafen, is also called opio pins. It's for your injured arms and legs. If somebody's not able to walk because their legs are injured, you give them this, and they're at least able to move enough to get themselves to better treatment. The purple is for head injuries. It's mainly you're gonna see that in game is if your vision is being blurred, and one thing I'm not always sure about is the purple and the orange. Purple says muscle fatigue, and the orange says muscle weakness. I'm not really sure why they differentiate those two. It's kind of weird. But the orange is for if you see center body injuries. That's what the orange is for. And of course, all these drugs raise what they call the blood drug level. And I believe they said 75% you're going to start becoming severely affected, and you hit 100%, you're down on the ground. Yep. And somebody's going to have to come save you then. You're going to need the Resurga, which is that pale blue, and that it doesn't suddenly take it away, but it does increase the rate at which your blood drug level goes down because it does decay. So if you've ever been down in the PTU and you were able to stand up on your own, it's because your blood drug level dropped enough to allow you to do so. So all these do is buy you time because it's eventually that effect is going to wear off. And how somebody would know which of these to use on you, they're not going to be able to just look at you and know what your injury is necessarily. That's where the Cure Life medical tool comes into. Fortunately, I don't have a picture of it here, but you aim it at somebody just like you do the multi-tool for mining or whatever, and you aim it at different parts of the body, and it will tell you what is wrong with that body and what they need. And after you've administered the pins, it'll even tell you whether they have light, medium, heavy injuries, so you can tell them what facility they need to go to be fully healed. The Gray Cat multi-tool, which we're all familiar with, there's an add-on to it. Don't waste your time with it at this point. Maybe they'll change things after it goes to live or sometime after, but it's really, it weighs more, and it's not really any better than having the Cure Life multi-tool. You're better off just keeping the Cure Life multi-tool on hand. If you feel you need the Gray Cat add-on, stow it in your leg or core armor. It doesn't take up much of any space at all. But the Cure Life medical tool really lets you know what you need to use on someone. And it seems to be pretty well done at this point. And of course, people are going around using these things. Is it the pins they're using in the armistice zones, correct?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes, right now.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't think you can use the med tool in the armistice. It's only the med pins themselves.
So, do you still need pins with the med tool?
Yes, there's a little green recharge vial you get. So you get the med tool, which is pretty cool looking, and it has a certain number of
gel packs.
Yeah, gel packs.
Yeah, they're gel packs.
So you want to carry a couple of the green ones to go with it. You can recharge it, etc.
Okay, but
to answer your question, Jay, I think you still need to carry around a couple of the pins, because unless your buddy unless you guys have the gun, then you need to be able to to heal somebody else.
Sure, but what I'm saying is,
it probably won't.
If I have the gun out, I don't need the pins necessarily handy. I can do everything from the gun.
Because you can set on the gun which type of those pins you're actually giving.
You're right. Okay. So I think it's more a matter of being able to quickly draw the red pin and jabbing yourself real quick when you have injuries, but you're not necessarily down.
Correct.
Go ahead, Jolly.
Yeah, real quick. Drugs are bad, okay? But what I would say, real simple, if you just want to play the game itself, you're not trying to be a medic and a doctor and stuff like that. Get the red pens that we've always had whatsoever. Leave right now. Obviously, you can pull the pen out, left click, use it yourself. I believe if you look at the individual you're trying to help and right click, you'll be able to give your red med pen to the individual. If you get that part down, good to go. All the other stuff, let docs handle that stuff, and I really don't care.
But just careful not to overdo it, because if you overdose somebody, it can kill them or put them in a worse state. And also, I think if you raise somebody's drug level above 50%, I think it makes them hostile to you. Makes you hostile to them. I believe, and if they then die, you could get a crime stat. So
I think it's 75%. Yeah. And there's two ways to two guns involved there. Multi-tool, like Don was talking about, and that really sleek-looking medical gun. Those are two different things. You keep them in mind. I'd advise, as Don was saying, use the medical gun. Don't use the multi-tool for this one. It takes up more space, more weight, etc. The medical gun is better than the multi-tool for this whole thing.
Right. And the medical tool will actually let you heal yourself too. There's a mechanism you can take and just shoot yourself with the medical tool. So
it has a decay rate, yes, and that the purpose of the one that counters that increases the rate of decay. So
just a reminder, nobody heard Jaglin ask the question.
Sorry.
Nom, so you might want
to
about that.
I was asked if your drug
it was the voice of
down.
God.
The voice of God spoke in his ear, and he didn't realize that he was hearing voices.
Next thing, another big thing coming is if you die, and before you would only lose whatever you were holding in your hand. Now, everything that's on you stays there. And we talked about earlier, if you got a buddies with you, or you're able to get back to where your body is in time while it's still there, the server hasn't crashed, you can go back there and pick all your stuff up, or they can grab your body, put it on the ship, and you're good. Otherwise, you're going to wake up in the gown that Jolly was talking about, and it's a very dignified look. Yeah, you can hold up the sarcasm sign. And and what's supposed to happen if you have absolutely nothing, it's supposed to give you a basic undersuit and helmet, so you can at least get out on the pad to get into a ship. You're not totally stuck if you regen on an R&R station. Jay?
Okay. Heaven Straylight asks, have they balanced how quickly or slowly you die to enable the medical gameplay?
It seems to be fixed at the moment you go down. It's about an hour and a half timer that starts counting down, in which you have time to call for help and get helped. If you take more,
you have a new mechanism in game to push for a beacon. So like the old transport beacons, now you have a medical beacon.
You have to hit or hold the letter M, and it'll put out a beacon. Once one person takes it, it's gone. You don't have to worry about a swarm of people all coming to your same location. The downside of that is it's system wide. So if you're at Microtech and some guy at Crusader could hit the accept button, and could hit accept, and he's not getting, he's got a slow ship. He's not getting there in time, or he doesn't really care that much. But the one good thing is you're not stuck. You can always choose to die.
Well, but that beacon also carries some risk, because there's nothing stopping him from showing up, shooting you dead, and taking all your stuff.
Okay. Well, like was said, once again, only one guy can take it, and he gets paid $10K to res you.
From you or from the game?
From
game.
The game.
From the game. I thought it came from me.
The game.
Yeah,
it's a mission.
The game. It's a mission.
Okay. My bad. Okay. So yeah, he gets paid $10K from the system in order to raise to stick a pin in me and get me back on my feet.
That does not sound like that's going to get abused to make money in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I think CIA wants us to do these rescue missions to test out that aspect of the game.
I get that, but three buddies get together on out in unmonitored space, and one shoots the one guy. He goes, "Okay, get ready. I'm hitting the M." And one of the other buddies takes the mission, revives him for 10K.
I don't think
a few hours making cash.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just saying that there's a way to make 100K an hour with your eyes closed pretty quick.
You're messing with my plan, Jay.
At least you're not running around trying to OD me with a pen. So
well, but just remember, we may go out on mining missions, and all of a sudden you fall down because you're so drugged up.
During Evo, I had a guy who was unconscious. We were talking in chat, the game chat, not real chat, and he needed help. And all of a sudden, okay, so I grabbed the individual. I got to bring him back to the darn clinic that we had. I think it was Everest Harbor at that point in time. The problem is, dragging, you have to walk backwards. There's no way to walk forward, dragging the individual behind you. That was a pain in the butt. Every time I try to go upstairs, I drop him. I have to grab him again, keep dragging him back there. I drag him all the way back to the, I check him into the hospital itself, the clinic at that point in time. All right, room 3. So I'm dragging back to room 3. Man, I have to drop him to open up room 3, and I grab him again, and the doors room 3 close.
You almost need somebody to hold the door for you.
Open it again, real quick. I drag him in there. Have his body come there close enough to get him in the damn thing. So I drag him over there, lay him next. You have to lay him right near the area of the bed itself, and then you get an option to go ahead and place the individual on bed. So I took that one. He goes to the bed. He falls through. It's a bug. It's been reported. It's in the IC. So be it. And eventually, I'm talking to this guy. I don't know who the hell he is, but I'm like, we're testing stuff, and I'm trying to help him out. He's like, he's appreciative of the fact. He's like, I'm about to die in about a minute. I said, dude, I'm doing all I can, but I can't get you fixed up. And all of a sudden, he wakes up. He's staggering around like he's over-drugged. I didn't do anything to him whatsoever. I have no medicals on me whatsoever. He's staggering around. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I said, try the screen over here. It was at the foot of the bed. There's two. If you're lying down the bed, you get a screen. If you're at the foot of the bed, you get a screen. I said, try this thing. It was help whatsoever. He goes, no, it doesn't. And all of a sudden, he's fixed. No problems whatsoever. I was like, this game's going great, buddy. This game's working out fantastic.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. I'm alive.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
Well,
you I think they added hangar in the hangar bay. There's a elevator, right, for the, the whiskey right to the hospital now.
Yeah, the elevators, the hangars, real quick. I learned this later on. Pull the individual into the elevator, and there's actually an option to take to the ER, whatever. You don't have to go with them. Just the individual goes up to the ER, not without you. Try to move up there if you want to, but that is an option that's out there. So
yeah.
So Ander makes the comment that he'd love a fireman carry, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Absolutely,
we need fireman carry.
Yeah,
even if it keeps you from being able to fire a rifle.
I know they're worried about griefing potential with being able to more readily move incapacitated people, but we have to have a means to do it.
We do. And the truth is that, at this point where they can drug you and keep you asleep out in the field, the dragging you by your neck or, by the scruff of your neck is not going to is not going to stop them from the shenanigans they're going to come up with.
It's not worth it. I have to see where I'm going when I'm dragging somebody.
And if somebody is griefing somebody or they don't want to be getting dragged wherever they're getting dragged, we always have the option to just backspace and leave the area. Well, all you're going to lose is whatever's on your body.
Yep.
That's one thing I like about Evocati is we have a rule. You cannot PvP, grief whatsoever in Evo. If you do, we report you and you're kicked out of Evo. Now, they can't control that PTU when dorks come along screwing up trying to test the damn game. But I enjoy that part of Evo.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So it looks like we have some new missions here as well in 3.15. Infiltrate and defend missions, which look really cool. There's also an arena commander revamp. I don't care personally, but I know some other guys that like arena commander. And you should always check the patch notes on the RSI forum because they've got an absolute... No, that's not the notes, but that is where you go to see them.
Yes.
And you definitely want to try to read those. They're long and have lots of, hey, this stuff is still broken and we know it lists.
It'll save it, like the things we talked about earlier about being careful which home you choose. They talk about that in depth in there, about why you might want to choose this planet over this planet as your home.
Yep, so definitely.
And please read them because if you ask questions and it's in the patch notes, you're going to get pwned in the chat that says it's in the patch notes.
A new acronym I learned was RTFPN. I love that one.
Yep. Jay's thinking about it.
Okay, I don't know what the PN is. I know what the FU is.
PN is patch notes.
Patch notes.
RTF.
Oh, patch notes.
Read the flippin' patch notes.
Yeah, read the flippin' manual.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's it for the show. Jolly, anything you want to add before we say goodnight?
I'm looking forward to 3.15 going live. That should be a lot of fun. I'll figure out some way to make money. So be it.
Yep. Hendro or Turing, what's your thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
And I just flushed everything out with that. No, seriously. If you've been an individual who has maybe lost a little interest in Star Citizen over the last couple of patches because they've just been, tweaking around the edges and things like that, you're in for a big surprise with 3.15. It's going to change the way you approach playing. It's going to change the way you have to think about what you do, and it's going to make for some interesting gameplay. And if it really is a major change that has happened, and we haven't seen something like this in a long time. So hop in there, take a look at it. There's a lot of good stuff that's coming.
It definitely is going to take the easy button on a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
Nam, your final thoughts before we close out the show.
I'm just looking forward to it. The big aspect is the wipe. I mean, I know some people, most people seem to be pretty positive about it, mainly because they're thinking about whatever's broken. But I'm looking forward to it because I've always looked at this phase as free testing time. I don't have to worry that so-and-so's getting ahead of me in progression or whatever. I can just play around with the mechanics, and it doesn't really matter in the end. It's free practice to me. And I'm going to have fun starting over, actually having a reason to earn money to get something. So
I agree completely. I'm not going to have my 4 or 5 million in credits until Christmas comes, and I can run around while I'm on work calls and snag up envelopes for 2K a piece or 1K a piece. I have one quick shout out before we end this. My wife and I celebrated our 22nd wedding anniversary last weekend, when the exact same date the turn was celebrating his birthday. And she has been the huge help. It is the only reason that we have 24 of these episodes. It would be impossible for me to run the board and do all the stuff she does and still talk, which some people may say would be a good thing, not to have me talk and have my ugly fat mug on the show. But I do want to give her a shout out because she's been doing a tremendous amount of work here in the studio. So Jacqueline, will you hop on and wave?
Hi, everybody.
Yep, you could actually hear her. She is the voice of God that the guys hear in their ears. What you don't know is a lot of times she's talking to them, telling them what to do, and that isn't broadcast out over the stream normally. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. Guys, I really appreciate it. All the viewers for being here. Our next show is November, and it is a 2 o'clock show, but I got to look up.
2 o'clock show, yeah.
Yep, it is a 2 o'clock show. I just got to look up the date real quick. I apologize. November 16th.
Look.
I'm double checking that just really quick, guys. I apologize. I should have had that written down. It is going to be November. Ooh, is that going to work? November 20th. I hope that's not Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep. No, that's the following Thursday.
That's the okay. So
Thanksgiving's late.
There we go. So November 20th at 2 o'clock, we're going to run our next 2 shows at European times to make it a little easier for the Europeans to watch. And so we hope that you'll be there. Guys, really appreciate you guys being on the show tonight, and we'll see you in the verse on the 20th, 2 p.m.
Sounds good.